I find it pretty comical today that so many people are jumping on this anti-Israel bandwagon now, whereas before, if you were critical of Israel, then you were labeled as an anti-Semite and an intolerant person. I've been critical of the state of Israel since I was a teenager, hypercritical. What they've done to the Palestinian people and all the wars that they've started and everything else. It's an evil. Israel is an evil, psychopathic nation. It really is. I went to high school in Cairo, Egypt. Went to an American school, and I would spend my summers in the United States. And people labeled me as an anti-Semite because I was hypercritical of Israel. To me, that's just crazy. I'm criticizing a country, not a religion per se, and it was just insane. What they've done and what they are doing is just unacceptable. So I find it really, really laughable today that guys like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens are getting all this applause for having the bravery to stand up to the Zionistic campaign. That's all crap. They both Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens are have been put into positions of influence. Were put into positions of influence because they're easily controlled. They are puppeted. Uh, Tucker Carlson's father was a CIA operative, and Tucker is pushing that same secret CIA driven agenda. I don't know what his true agenda is, but Tucker is being very hypercritical of Israel. But if he was a threat to the deep state, he would be silenced. He would be bedbound with either chronic fatigue syndrome or depression or some sort of disabling chronic illness. He's not brave. He's a mouthpiece for the deep state. He really is. And while he's critical of Israel, which is fantastic because Israel deserves tons of criticism, he's sitting there and applauding Gulf countries, Persian Gulf countries like Qatar and their governments, but their governments are also guess all those Gulf countries, Bahrain, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia. They are all controlled by the international banking cartel as well, and so the Qatari government is not a government of freedom. None of those governments in the Gulf region are. Most of the modern development of that region has been done with South Asian slave labor. That's how it's been built. It's really diabolical, be it from Dubai to that whole region has been built by slave labor and funded by the international banking cartel with the oil and gas money, which is spearheaded by the international banking cartel. And then there's Candace Owens, who she's not brave. She is so monarch programming. I guarantee you, she is MK Ultra monarch programming. And in college, she was a very left wing, outspoken person, and then she became super right wing, and now she's just seen as so courageous to break from MAGA and being critical of Israel and this whole Brigitte Macron bullshit. Basically, anybody in a position of influence today is only in a position of influence because they either have been deemed not a threat or they're completely controlled. Um, and I think Tucker Carlson's part of the big club, and I believe that I know that everything in my soul tells me that Candace Owens is an MK Ultra monarch slave, whether or not she's privy to that or not. Do a deep dive in on it. There's some great stock content on Rumble and BitChute about Candace Owens and her background and her husband and all these other things. It's really crazy. But I just find it so laughable that like, oh, you go, Candace, you go, girl, or you go, Tucker, sticking it to Israel. That's so brave of you. Because if these people were really threats, they'd be silenced. They'd be stripped of their platforms, or they'd be too sick to be able to produce anything, or they'd just be killed. Um, and, um, and why weren't they critical of Israel years ago? You know, that they were probably the same people saying years ago that Israel's our greatest ally, and shit like that. I'm just, you know, um, we need voices that where people's obviously their general opinions are consistent over decades. Obviously, we grow and we change, and our opinions change over time, but our core beliefs stay pretty consistent throughout life. And when somebody flip flops so quickly, and it's all a psyop. Everything's a psyop. And everything indicates to me that they're trying to not only use Tucker and Candace as mouthpiece of independent journalism. They're controlled. That also placing them in a position where they can seen as viable political candidates, where they are the true American spirit and they're speaking from their heart and they're just brave little people taking on this big bad system, and they're not on the front lines of this shit. All right. You and I are on the front lines of this shit. And anybody else, any targeted individual knows that this is all crap. Anybody who's survived MK Ultra and all this stuff is just like the government is evil, and these two jokers are being puppeted. So it's great that people are actually being vocal against Israel today, but we need to be vocal against the American government as well. The American government is complicit in all this, both the left and the right. But the true puppet masters, it's not Israel. It's the Rothschilds and the International Banking Cartel. Those are the true puppet masters, and these dark satanic nobility with long lasting bloodlines. Anyways, putting this out in the universe, inspired to share this. Have a great day.